This is the most terrifying ghost ship of all time. On July 1947, the survivors of the nearby ships who came to the rescue of the Ourang Medan gathered together. They recounted the tale of the haunted ship to the local newspapers. For days, people read about how the sailors had found the men in their berth, frozen and pointing towards the sky with expressions of sheer terror on their faces. In the mess hall, dinner was laid out as if the crew were expecting a feast. The cook's work had been interrupted by whatever terrible force had come aboard the ship that night. The first officer was found holding a piece of paper. It had the words "All officers, including the captain, are dead," lying in chart room and bridge. Possibly whole crew dead written on it. Soon after this grim report, they picked up another chilling transmission from the ship. This time it was only one word, "I," followed by another, "Die." After that, the transmissions stopped forever. What had happened here? How did the entire crew perish in the blink of an eye? What had frightened them so much? The ship sent out a search party to find out. The other sailors knew there wasn't much hope left that any of the crew were still alive, but hoped to at least recover their bodies. When they got to the ship, however, the nightmarish reality soon became clear. Every single member of the crew was dead. Their bodies were still on the ship and they were all stiff, locked in positions of eternal suffering, frozen in time as if caught in the grip of some unknown force. The crew of the rescue ship waited for the authorities to arrive before doing anything. When the police finally showed up, they agreed that the best course of action was to take a look around the ship. The gruesome details of what they found soon became common knowledge among the townspeople. When the boarding party arrived at the Medan, they found the crew frozen in their places. It was almost as if someone had turned them to stone. Many of the crew members had their arms outstretched, as though reaching for something just beyond the edge of sight. Several others were kneeling as if in prayer, their mouths agape, their eyes bulging, reflecting something they saw right before their deaths. Most of the crew members were discovered slumped against walls, perhaps as if trying to hide from something invisible. Captain Johnson, the pilot of the tugboat, was the first to discover the extent of the tragedy. He found the captain of the Medan in his room, lying on the table, clutching a piece of paper in his hand. The rest of the crew were found scattered throughout the ship. The ship's cook was found standing over the stove as if preparing a meal. The second mate was discovered seated at the navigation table with a half-written logbook in front of him. Throughout the ship, the bodies of the crew were found frozen in mid-action, each in a silent scream of terror. But when the medical examiner performed autopsies, he found no physical cause of death for any of them. None of the crew had suffered from any disease. None had been murdered. There were no signs of struggle, no broken bones or defensive wounds. It was as if every crew member had succumbed simultaneously to an unseen force, a force that had paralyzed them and taken their lives without a trace. The investigation revealed that the ship had sailed from Batavia, Indonesia, to Singapore and was supposed to be carrying a load of tin ingots, general cargo, empty oil drums and 6 Ford cars. The ship was old, more than 40 years at the time, but was deemed seaworthy. Its last port of call was Singapore, where it docked on June 1947. From there, it continued to Surabaya, Indonesia. The next morning, everything was fine. By noon, the radio operator sent out a message indicating that the ship was experiencing rough seas and high winds. That was the last communication anyone had with the ship until the fateful incident of July 2nd. The wreck of the Ourang Medan was located on August 7, 1947, off the coast of the island of Sime. It was floating aimlessly with nobody on board. The cargo ship was drifting dangerously off course from its intended route, and it looked like it had NT moved for several hours. It didn't appear damaged. However, upon closer inspection, the boarded personnel discovered something horrific. The cargo ship was a floating tomb. The crew were dead. After ensuring the safety of the crew members, those who boarded the Ourang Medan soon realized they were dealing with a mystery of unprecedented proportions. The discovery of a potentially ghost ship is always unsettling. However, what truly set the Ourang Medan apart was the state in which the bodies were found. They were all dead. Each victim seemed to be frozen in an eternal moment of terror, trapped forever in a silent scream. Whether it was a sudden realization of their fate or the culmination of a horrifying experience, each sailor's final moments were indelibly imprinted on their physical forms. The image of these lifeless bodies, eternally fixed in postures of dread, has resonated through the years, serving as a chilling reminder of the inexplicable mysteries that continue to elude our understanding. But that wasn't all. As the investigations progressed, more disturbing details came to light. The ship's logs revealed no indication of distress or any unusual occurrences in the days leading up to the incident. Furthermore, the weather reports from the region indicated calm seas and fair skies during the relevant period, making it even more perplexing as to why the crew would have been petrified in such a manner. With no evidence of external factors contributing to the crew's demise, the focus shifted to the ship itself. Theories of a curse began to circulate, drawing upon local legends and folklore. Some claimed that the ship had been built using wood from an ancient temple, inadvertently inviting malevolent spirits. Others spoke of a vengeful sea which supposedly haunted the waters near the ship's last known location. These tales, while rooted in superstition, provided a cultural context to the unfolding mystery. Yet amid these supernatural theories, more rational minds sought tangible explanations. The idea of a virus or a highly contagious disease was put forward, supported by the notion that the symptoms could have been neurological in nature, inducing the kind of terror that would have driven the crew to such extreme reactions. However, with the lack of any epidemiological data and the absence of any surviving samples from the victims, this hypothesis remained speculative. The question of whether the crew had encountered some form of biological warfare, either accidentally or intentionally, also arose. Given the historical context of post-World War II scientific research and the potential for classified experiments, this possibility, although disturbing, cannot be entirely discounted. As days turned into weeks, the lack of concrete answers only fueled the flames of speculation. Rumors abounded in the coastal communities, each more fantastical than the last. Whispers spoke of cannibalism, of mutiny, and of horrifying creatures from the depths, all vying for a piece of the terrifying narrative. Fearful tales served not only to entertain but also to warn, ensuring that the story of the Ourang Medan would serve as a cautionary one for generations to come. Despite the numerous theories, the truth behind the Ourang Medan remained shrouded in mystery. To this day, no conclusive evidence has surfaced that could shed light on the fate of the ship or its crew. The lack of official documentation, coupled with the absence of physical evidence, has left a void filled only by conjecture and imagination. Did the crew succumb to a deadly virus? Were they the victims of a sinister experiment gone awry? Or did they encounter something truly supernatural, something that defied rational explanation? Perhaps the silence is the most terrifying aspect of the tale, echoing the helplessness and fear experienced by the crew of the Ourang Medan all those years ago. At the end of it all we know is that the SS Ourang Medan sent out a distress call that went unanswered. The crew perished, possibly due to a mysterious and unseen force. They died and were buried at sea, taking with them to their grave the secrets of the Malacca Strait. The stories surrounding the Ourang Medan continue to captivate and terrify, reminding us of the limits of our understanding. In the face of the vast and often unforgiving sea, the legacy of the Ourang Medan lives on, not just as a maritime mystery, but as a chilling testament to the enduring power of the unknown.